Hey guys, welcome to the Window Sports Betting Podcast. We are the one show with one mission. Just to get you to the window to cash some tickets and put some real money in your pocket. Not big time money. We're talking about Uber Eats money, new sneaker money, weekend trip money. We're not professionals. We're not Vegas insiders with big ass spreadsheets and a hotline to call and computers the size of a football field. We are moderately sharp, like a really good butter knife. But tonight that knife's cutting through 7 games in the NIT and the NCAA tournament first 4, and we're gonna break down every single one of them, the 7 that I like anyway, that I saw edges on. And, 7 games, 7 breakdowns, spreads, totals, bets, and leans, and we're gonna tell you exactly which is which because there's a difference between a bet and a lean. If I tell you it's a lean, it's something that I like and you deserve to know what you're walking into. So we're going to explain that. Quick note before we get started. When we say bet, that means the analytics, the line movement, the math, the homework, it all lined up. And it's pointing in the same direction, which makes it a bet. It's a strong play. When we say lean, that means we're leaning towards that. Something to be shared with friends. The edge is there, but it's thinner, it's more situational, and you should size your bet accordingly, make it smaller, or just pass. Think of it this way: bet's like the entree. It's the what you show up for. It's the steak. It's what you show up for. It's what you want to do. And a lean is an appetizer. Both can make you money. Neither's guaranteed because in this game, nothing's guaranteed, man. It's crazy sometimes. But we did the homework. I did the homework. Chris does the soccer homework. I did it so you don't have to. 7 games on the docket. Let's get into it. Game 1 of 7, Howard versus UMBC. Spread is Howard -1. Over under is 143. It's the first 4 out in NCAA tournament, first 4 out in Dayton at 6:40 tonight. Dayton is as glamorous as it sounds for the opening act of the NCAA tournament. Not a lot going on in Dayton. I'm from Cleveland, trust me. 2 16 seeds. They both won their conference championships. One gets to face Michigan on Thursday and lose by 30 to 40 points, but one of them covers tonight, and that's all we're really worried about. Think of this matchup in culinary terms. UMBC is like a methodical chef, a baker, if you will. Everything's measured, everything's precise, nothing wasted. They rank 25th in the country in turnover rate. They've covered the spread in 14 of their last 16 games. That's not a hot streak. That's a character trait. That's a culture. They protect the ball, they attack the rim, and they do not beat themselves. They absolutely do not. Howard, on the other hand, is a chaotic, high energy kitchen chef that puts out great food, but his kitchen's a fucking mess, but it's spectacular food until the health inspector shows up. The Howard Bison, they're averaging 84 points a game in their last 10 outings. Of course, they didn't hit that when I had a bet on them with their team total over 77.5 with a 4% play on a Saturday, I believe it was. But they play fast. They pressure everything and they can absolutely go on runs. The problem is they shoot like shit. They get to the foul line a decent amount, but they shoot like shit and they turn the ball over at an alarming rate. They're 342nd worst in the country, in the entire country, out of 365 teams at turning the ball over. That is impressively bad. And they're about to walk into a gym against a team that ranks 25th in forcing and protecting the ball. That is a matchup problem that's huge. Kim Palm projects UMBC winning 71-70. Sharp Money allegedly has been on UMBC all week, and I, I don't agree with it. The spread opened UMBC -2.5 and has been bet all the way to Howard -1, which means the books they've seen enough action to flip the entire number. Howard's now the favorite, and I am absolutely going against that. I do not agree. Metrically speaking, UMBC is better. Again, like I said, Howard shoots like shit. It's UMBC +1 or better. Just take them on the money line for a 2% play. Now, the total is set at 143, and there's a website called the Sportsline, and it's got a model that runs 10,000 simulations. So the Sportsline model projected 151 points across 10,000 simulations, and I think it went over in 80% of them. Both of them are up-tempo squads. Howard's been scoring in the mid to high 70s regularly. UMBC has been lighting it up offensively in their 12-game winning streak. 43 is a number that does not respect what either offense is capable of tonight in Dayton. We're going to take the over 143 for 2%. Yeah, over 143 at 2%. UMBC +1 over 143. First ticket of the night is punched. Let's keep it pushing. I ain't trying to beat your eardrums up too much, but we got 6 more games to get to. All right, we're staying in Dayton for the next game. Game 2, same arena, different level of chaos. It's NC State -1 against Texas, 2 11 seeds, 2 teams both lost 5 of their last 6 games. They're limping into this thing, man. And if we're sticking to the food theme, which you see the man on my shirt, we're going to stick to the food theme, not really. In recipe terms, both of these dishes are overcooked, a little burnt on the edges, but one of them is going to find their groove tonight in Dayton. We needed to figure out which one and how that can get us to the window. Here's a core ingredient that defines this matchup. NC State shoots the shit out of the 3-point ball. They are 10th in the entire country in 3-point shooting percentage. Texas ranks 239th defending the 3-point line, 239th. Just think about that. Top 10 3-point shooting team, 239th defending the three. Wolfpack shooting threes against the Longhorns perimeter defense is like cooking a souffle in an oven with the door open. Something's going up and it's going up fast. And then it's going to come down. On the other side of the ledger, Texas is a physical bulldozing team. Dalen Swain leads the Longhorns in points, rebounds, assists, steals. The man is 4 players in one, sharing one jersey, and he gets to the free throw line at the 4th highest rate in the country. When Texas plays its game, they generate easy points at the stripe, even on bad shooting nights. Both Kim Palm and Bart Torvik, those are 2 analytic sites that you can use to handicap college basketball games that I use. They have NC State winning by 1 point, 83-82, which is 50%. I mean, it's a 1-point edge, so I don't see an edge. That's about as close to a coin flip as the analytics industry is capable of producing, which means the edge is thin, but it exists. NC State has an offensive ceiling advantage. Their 3-point attack is a genuine weapon. It really is. I just don't trust this team. Texas's defense has not been good enough to stop quality offenses down the stretch. Gun to my head, NC State -1 is just a lean, or NC State on the money line. I'm more interested in the total. The total at 157.5 is where I feel genuinely good about this game. Teams combined for 199 last time they played. I think it opened at 162 and got bet all the way down to this 157.5. So I'm going against that. Bet it down all you want, sharp guys, wise guys. But both offenses rank in the top 65 in effective field goal percentage. Both defenses rank outside the top 200 in defensive efficiency. This is why I don't trust NC State. NC State, again, like I said before, they're top 10 in 3-point shooting, and now they get Texas, a team allowing 36% from 3, which is an absurd number. It's not like out of control. If it were 39, it'd be worse. But they're 299th against 3-point defenses for as far as 3-point defenses go in the country. Multiple models I've run through project 161 combined points, which is where the total opened up at. It was 162. The over at 157.5 has 3.5 points model cushion. This is the stronger play of the 2 in the game. So give me Texas, NC State over 157.5. That's going to be a 2% play. NC State -1, if you want to do it, over 157 is a better play. Let's get the fuck out of Dayton. Doubleheader in Dayton is complete. Let's get the fuck out of Ohio in general. I know I did. All right, we're leaving the NCAA tournament and going to the NIT, the Not Invited tournament, which, depending on your perspective, is either a consolation bracket or a value betting paradise. For me, it is paradise. I love dumpster diving. I love these shitty teams, and we are going to find some value. We got 5 NIT games on the card tonight, and the sharper plays of the entire evening are about to show themselves. Pay attention. Here we go. This is where the money's made, baby. Game number 3, it's Liberty plus 3.5 against George Mason. It's in Fairfax. It's a home game for George Mason. 2 teams that missed the tournament are now playing survival basketball in a building named after a bank. I don't understand the names of these stadiums. It doesn't matter. George Mason is the home team. They're 17-2 at home. They just beat the dog ass out of St. Louis, who I think can make a championship run. But in their gym, those guys are tough. They're very, very tough. Eagle Bank Arena is a real home court advantage, and we acknowledge all of that. We are acknowledging it, and then we're moving past it, moving on, because the analytics tell a different story about this number. Liberty has been one of the most efficient shooting teams in the country all year. They rank 3rd nationally in field goal percentage. They run a controlled, disciplined offense. They almost never beat themselves. They turn the ball over at the fourth lowest rate in the country. They're experienced, 2.85 years of average experience per player compared to Georgetown. What a weird stat I just wrote down. Liberty's older than Georgetown, and in a one and done NIT environment, older teams, veteran teams, they don't panic. They execute. They play the game. The spread analytics and the CBB Edge model project this game landing around 3 to 4 points in George Mason's favor. The line is 3.5. At plus 3.5, Liberty has a meaningful cushion. That's more than a possession against the projection. And George Mason, 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games. The line moved from Mason minus 5.5 all the way to 3.5. That is sharp money finding Liberty since this line opened all week long. Liberty plus 3.5, 1% because I respect the market. I George Mason at home is tough. Better line I like is on the total. Now the total is at 147.5, and this is the play you want in this game. Both Liberty and George Mason rank in the bottom third nationally in adjusted tempo. They play slow on purpose. They are methodical. Northern Iowa slow. That's another game for another day. St. John's in Northern Iowa. That game is going to be an absolute rock fight. It's going to be ugly. They play George Mason and Liberty. They play slow with conviction. George Mason's last 10 home games have averaged 131 combined points. 31. The total's at 141.5. That's a 10-point gap. And a Liberty team that hadn't been playing well. And that I just think it's too much of a cushion to pass. 10 points, that's not a lean. That's a walk up in order. That's a get to the window. That's an edge. That's a bet. We're going to take the under 141.5, George Mason Liberty. We're going to make that 2%. So Liberty plus 3.5 is a lean, 1% if you're going to play it. Under 141.5 is a 2% bet. It is a bet. Let's get on to game 4. We are going north. We are heading north and east from Fairfax to New Haven for one of the more intriguing stylistic clashes on the entire slate. It's a CAA, I think it was a Colonial Athletic something at 7 p.m. And it's UNC Wilmington and Yale. Nerd alert. UNC Wilmington is +5 at Yale, NIT first round in New Haven, Connecticut, a school that brags about its graduation rate, hosting a school named after a coastal city that nobody has ever planned to visit. Actually, I do know somebody in Wilmington, I think. I don't. Doesn't matter. Yale is legitimately good. They rank 35th in the adjusted efficiency nationally. Their effective field goal percentage is the top 25 in the country. Nick Townsend, player of the year, is doing a little bit of everything at 17 plus points per game, 7 rebounds a night. Yale at home should be a comfortable cover. I mean, it's 5.5. It's UNC Wilmington. Should be an easy, comfortable cover, right? Here's the thing. Yale just lost to Penn in overtime in the Ivy League tournament. They allowed 82 points per game across 2 Ivy League tournament games. The defense has been leaking at precisely the wrong time of year. And North Carolina, Wilmington, 1 second, guys. My apologies. Get back to it. That was my little diabetes monitor beeping at me. The defense has been leaking at precisely the wrong time of year for Yale. And North Carolina, Wilmington, UNCW, they've covered the road spread in 9 of their last 10 games. Not 8 out of 10, not 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 90% clip. The CBB Edge model projects a margin well inside of 5 points. There's several models out there giving UNCW better than 50% chance of covering, probably winning the game outright at +5. The Seahawks, yeah, they're the Seahawks. They got 2 points of cushion against the projection. Give me UNCW +5. Let's make that a 3% play. Now the total is at 146.5. This is where we find a good bet. Yale scores efficiently, and UNCW has hit the over in 10 of the last 14 games this season. 71% of the time on the road, Yale's defense has been allowing points at a problematic rate. UNCW loves to start fast and has cashed the first half money line in 12 consecutive games. Both offenses have legitimate scoring upside, and the total is not priced for it. But I don't want to mess with the total. Over 146.5 is a lean, 1% if anything at all. UNCW +5 for 2%. The over at 146.5, it's a lean. It's not a bet. Over 146.5, we'll leave it alone. We are rolling right along. Let's head west. Next stop, we are in Wichita, Kansas, where there ain't shit to do. We're in the middle of the armpit of America. And this matchup has had more line movement and more bounce than a rap video or a Beyonce concert box office. Play close attention to the market told us about this game because the market has to be respected, not trusted at all times. But you have to respect it. Just because you see a line move doesn't mean you bet it. A lot of the times, so it's called steam, and steam is sudden, sharp line movement across all markets because a large group or someone with a shitload of money is betting a particular side of a game or a total, and they're betting it heavily and they're moving the line. It doesn't mean it's right, but you need to pay attention to it. You have to respect it, respect the line moves. And the question and what you have to learn and what I had to learn and teach myself is why did the line move? When did it move? Access to that information costs some money. To get an odds screen that is live and up to date. I use Odds Logic. I can't afford the Don Best odds screen. It's like $500 a month. It's something crazy to get that odds screen. But the one I have with Odds Logic is affordable. For what I'm doing, it breaks down to about $25 a week. It's like $100 a month, and I think it's worth it if you're making as many bets as we're making here at To the Window. Um, if you're making as many bets as we're making and probably bringing in over more than it cost you're bringing in more money than it cost for the odds screen, it's worth the investment for sure. Um, so we're going to move along with these games, but again, respect the market, respect the move. Wyoming plus 5.5 at Wichita State. It's a first round. It's in Wichita, Kansas. It's going to be a good home environment, and this game has a story baked right into the line movement. The spread opened at Wichita State. They were favored -7. It moved to -6.5. Then it moved again all the way to -5.5. That is a full point and a half movement towards Wyoming. And on this NIT slate, sharp money has been consistently moving lines and correctly identifying underdog value in every single game on the board, in my opinion. This is the same pattern we've seen all night. When a number moves a point and a half towards the dog in college basketball without any injury news, that's informed money making an informed decision, and you got to respect it. Unlike the game earlier, I just think people remember the last thing, Howard, the first game I was talking about. I think people remember the last thing they saw. And I was guilty of that. I saw that last game and I saw their run. They're good. Howard is good in that conference, but that conference is weak. UMBC is coming out of a much stronger conference, in my opinion. And sorry, well, I adjust my mic to anyway. Um, UMBC coming out of that conference with Vermont is impressive. It's a stronger conference than the MEAC. I think Howard's in the MEAC. Yeah. UMBC's out of a much stronger conference. That conference Howard just came out of is weak sauce. Anyway, Wichita State is the home powerhouse in this game. 14-3 at home. They're ferocious on the boards. They pull down 55 rebounds in a single game. And Kentrell Giles is that he this Kentrell Giles? Yeah, he's averaging 19 plus points a game in a straight up fight. The Shockers probably win this game. Wichita State owns its court. Their home court is fire. But Wyoming drove down with a 14-4 road record, so they can play on the road. For 18, interesting. These cats are 18-14 overall, but they've won every important game on the road away from Laramie all season. Cowboys are comfortable as a road dog, so they don't have a problem playing against. Interesting. So this model projects Wichita State winning by roughly 8 points. Wyoming plus 5.5 gives you 2.5 points of cushion against that projection. Sharp money agrees. I don't know about this one. Hang on one second. I'm going to check this live because I don't know about this, man. It's weird. Let me go to my little odds screen here and just make sure that I'm not getting lied to. Let's go to this one. Yeah, it looks like Wichita State opened up 5.5, went to 6. Hang on a second. Somebody lying to me, man. There it is. Okay, so it opened up at circa at 7 and got crushed immediately. It opened this morning at 7, 8:30 this morning at noon, lunchtime. Yeah, it got hit down to 5.5. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with Wyoming plus that 5.5. I think it's a good yeah, I think that's a good bet. Wyoming gives up around 75 per game on defense, combined season scoring averages plus. Yeah. I don't like it. Yeah, yeah, I think Wyoming is the play. Wyoming plus a 5.5, and we're gonna look at the over 147.5. The total is 147, and that's a 7-point gap between what the averages say and what the books are posting. It's not a slow-paced defensive slugfest. These are two teams that can score, and the total simply doesn't reflect that. Wyoming can score some points. They can shoot the rock. Wichita State at home in this environment. Did they want to go dancing? Sure. But Wyoming plus 5.5 is a 2% play, and the over 147 for 2% as well. Yeah, I really like it. I got a little jumbled there, and I apologize for that. But we're going to move on from Wichita. We're going to Tulsa. Let's go to Oklahoma for game 6. And this one has the largest conference cap on the board. It's a Southland program, really small. Stephen F. Austin walking into a Reynolds Center full of AAC talent, which is where Tulsa is from. They were really good earlier this year, and they were a bet on team to start the year, but the only question is whether the spread is wide enough to justify laying it or wide enough to take the points with Stephen F. Austin. Spoiler alert. It's another dog. We're taking the points. Stephen F. Austin plus 7.5 at Tulsa. NIT first round. Let's be upfront about this one. One thing right out of the gate, Tulsa is so much better on paper. They rank 4th in the country in offensive rating. They average 85.5 points per game. Their true shooting percentage is 4th nationally. That is a legitimately dangerous offensive program, and they are at home as a number 1 NIT seed. So they're expecting them to win and go to New York for this NIT final or wherever the NIT final is. Um, they're a number 1 NIT seed for a reason. Stephen F. Austin is 28-5, which sounds fantastic until you realize that the record was built almost entirely around Southland Conference competition, a strength of schedule ranked 235th nationally. They don't have a single quad 1 win, and that's the quad 1 is the big boys. They don't have any wins against the big boys. Um, on their resume because nobody they played qualified. And their last game was a 17-point loss to McNeese State, a McNeese State team with a losing record in the conference title game. But all that being said, the CBB Edge model projects Tulsa winning by only 4.5 points, not 7.5, 4.5. That's a full 3 points of model difference. And this is fascinating to me. Stephen F. Austin is a 12-3 team against the spread on the road this season. 3 points of cushion against the model. I'm going to go back and check again. Yeah, opened at 8, got hit to 7 immediately. It's too many points. With the team covering road spreads at 80%, the math earns this play. You got to make this play on Stephen F. Austin plus a 7.5. Maybe it'll get to 8. The game doesn't tip off till 9. But one important note before you place anything on this game. David Green, Tulsa's leading scorer at 16 plus a game. He suffered some undisclosed injury in their conference tournament loss at Wichita State. So check his status before tip. I'm going to check it right now. It's 5:15, 5:14 to be exact. So let's check the injury news. David Green, as of 8:51 this morning, undisclosed, questionable to play Tuesday for Stephen F. Austin. If Green is out or limited, this number becomes even more favorable for Stephen F. Austin. So Stephen F. Austin plus 7.5. It's a 2% play, but make sure to check David Green's status before placing a wager. The total is where I want to look. The total at 151. Yeah, 151 at BetOnline, 151 at Bovada, 150 at Pinnacle. These are all other sports books that I use, but the total at 151, this is the stronger play of the two. The model projects 148 and the line is 151. So that's a 3-point cushion on the under. And Stephen F. Austin has failed to hit the over in 16 of their last 20 games. Yeah, you heard that right. 16 of the last 20 games have not gone over for Stephen F. Austin. They play around 66 possessions a game. They make games look deliberate, controlled, slow. Green's injury, it slows them down even more. Tulsa's already uncertain scoring ceiling. The under at 151 is a sharper play in this game, and that's what we're trying to beat is sharp. We're going to hit this for 3% under 151. So Stephen F. Austin plus 7.5 is a 1% play. You might even want to pass, but under 151 for the 3% bet is a much better play that I'll absolutely love. And we've only got one game left. Last game of the night. Let's close it out right. And we're going to Irvine, California, 11 o'clock at night. Last game anyone is still awake for, probably only me. Nobody's watching this game. I'll be home from the casino. That's where I'm at right now to watch this game. It's one of the more profitable spots in the board. If you know where to look while everyone else went to sleep, we did the math. I did the math, and the math on this total is as clear as anything we have seen all night. UC Irvine. Oh, my thing's about to beep at me again. Sorry, guys. Give me one sec. Stop beeping at me, phone. And I almost knocked my camera over. Jesus Christ. Falling apart here, slowly but surely. All right. UC Irvine is -1.5 against UNLV. All right. The math on this total is as clear as anything I've seen all night. UC Irvine. All right, we're gonna get right back to it. Let's see. UC Irvine -1.5 against UNLV. It's NIT first round. Let's start this thing. My thing's beeping at me and it's freaking me out, so it's making this a little tough. But this is a one game tonight where the model value sits with the home favorite, which has been a rare thing on this slate tonight. We've been riding with underdogs all night. And there's a little bit of elegant tension, if you will, in this matchup. UNLV has a genuinely good offense. It is good. Dre Gibbs Lawhorn is averaging nearly 21 points a game and 50% shooting. The Rebels rank 83rd nationally adjusted offensive efficiency. On paper, they can score against anybody. However, you see Irvine's defense ain't just anybody. The Anteaters rank 29th in the country in defensive efficiency. They allow 38.4% shooting from the field, second best in all of Division One. Hang on, let me fix this camera one more time. Sorry, guys. Yeah, there's my face. They block nearly 6 shots a game, third nationally. And since the start of the 2023-2024 season, they have allowed just 1.0 points per shot, tied for second best among all Division One programs in that entire span. That is trippy. That's good coaching, man. That is a multi-year defensive identity, not just a March surge. This is who they are. This is what they do. Ken Palm projects UC Irvine winning 75-72 with a 59% win probability. Spread is -1.5. The model, UCI winning by 3, and you're only laying 1.5. Take them on the money line. That is a rare thing in the slate tonight. A favorite at home where the model has value on their side. Yeah, give us UC Irvine money line for 3%. Now the total at 152, and this is the strongest total play on the entire card tonight, in my opinion. Not a lean, a bet. Ken Palm projects 147 combined points. The line is 152. That's 5 points of cushion. That's a 5 point gap. And what the books are offering, the single largest model to market gap of any total across all 7 games tonight. UC Irvine's home under record is 9-5 on the season. They suppress scoring for a living. UNLV just shot 40% from the field in their last game. 40% cold offense, elite defense. Low possession count, 11 p.m. Irvine, California, 5 points of model cushion. This is your anchor bet of the entire evening. I know it's boring. I know it's an under. It's under 152. It's a 3% play. Pull the trigger. Fire. Under 152. UC Irvine -1.5 or 3%. Money line is the play on that one. Find your best odds. I use Profit X. Under 152 for 3% as well. Both UC Irvine money line 3%. UC Irvine UNLV under 152 3%. 7 games in the books. Now let's go through this full recap. I'm going to do this just like this. UC Irvine on the money line for 3%. UC Irvine and UNLV under 152 for 3%. Stephen F. Austin plus 7.5. I wrote down 2%. It's a 1%er. 1% play, but that under 151, Stephen F. Austin and Tulsa, that's a 3% banger. Wyoming plus 5.5 is a 2% play. Wyoming and Wichita State over 147. I expect some fireworks in that game. That's another 2% play. UNC Wilmington plus 5. I think I got it at 5. That's a 3% play. Liberty under 141.5. That's a 2% play. NC State and Texas over 158, 157.5. NC State and Texas over 157.5. That's another 2% play. 7 games, every spread total called out by game, so you know exactly what belongs where. And that's a wrap on the full card for March 17th, 2026. Happy St. Patrick's Day. If you are a drinker, which I am not, 5.5 years sober for this guy. 5.5 years sober for this guy. But have fun tonight. Be responsible. I used to love St. Patrick's Day. I used to get fucked up on St. Patrick's Day. But listen, keep it easy, keep it safe. Uber's there for a reason. You guys don't do anything crazy. But enjoy yourself. Drink some green beer, have some Guinness, drink some Jameson, car bombs, all that. Makes me want to throw up because all right, let me get this light out of my eyes. I do not regret getting sober. And you can still have fun on St. Patrick's Day, but that's 7 games to the window to cash some tickets. Again, let me reiterate, we are not professionals. We want to be crystal clear about that every single time we sit down to do this. We are moderately sharp people. We are like a well-used butter knife. It can get the job done. Can it cut a steak? Sure. We did the research, we ran the numbers, and we want to share what we found with you guys. That's the whole show. No secret hotline, no inside information, just the analysis, the analytics, the line movement, the trends. We respect the market. We watch the market all in one place. So you don't have to go find it yourself at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night. I'm going to do that. If even half of tonight's plays hit, you're looking at Uber Eats covered for the week, new pair of shoes, maybe that first night of that trip you keep putting off. That's what this is about. Fun money, good vibes, smart plays, positive shit, man. Listen, I say this on about every pod we do. If a bet makes you sweat, you are not doing it right. You're doing it wrong. This should be fun. This is a good part of watching basketball. Enjoy the games tonight. Root for your tickets. We'll see you at the window. Good luck tonight, guys. I'm Jemiah. My partner is Chris. He is away. I will be back in Atlanta sometime this evening. And hopefully cash in some tickets with you guys tonight. So we've got some action on the board. Hopefully you cash a few tickets. Shouts out to Mr. Bourdain, RIP. Shouts out to getting these tickets to the window. Shouts out to finding value on the board. Shouts out to making some money tonight. All right, guys, let's get to the window. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.